And mega, 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 mwah, 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 mwah. Love shout out to everyone. Because it's February, we are going to talk about choosing and finding love. Every year, there's only two or twice, I would say, that in general, everyone is celebrating love, not just personally, but in general, is Christmas and Valentine's, which is February. But every February, it's all about finding the right partner or the perfect partner for you, because there's nothing perfect in this world. I so to all the perfectionists out there, I'm just saying there's really nothing perfect. I think if you reach that perfectness, according to Jervy, life in general, you'll just have to learn. And lately, this is the thing that I've been like thinking about. I don't even remember where did I started thinking about this. Hold on, guys. I'm looking for something.
A few moments later.
I feel like when I don't wear it, I feel like it's not the perfect.
A few moments later.
But whatever, I don't know. I don't know where I put it. But I've been thinking about this and I don't know if I started thinking or like mess around with a thought. You know, when you started talking so deep, like you feel like you're so deep. You talk about life in general. Sometimes there's like a cringeness to it. But I'm just saying, I started to think what is really the purpose of life. Lately, I've been dealing, well, when you say something like you've been dealing, it seems so very negative, but it's not a negative thing. It seems like the world feels like sometimes you doesn't want to be corrected when you kind of learn something through experiences and through whatever things that you're watching or following. It seems like a lot of people doesn't use this information in a way that it would make their life better. How are you going to choose and find love? If ever you're going to find love, how are you going to find it? And how are you going to make your choices with it? Why they do that? What? I wouldn't feel that I'm so weird about thinking about this stuff because I just really love trying to understand different people's perspective.
Yeah.
How do you choose and find love when everything seems to be like over exaggeration? I heard a lot of great things about Philippines women. I think that would be my starting point when I look for love. Ooh, I like that thought. Oh, guys, do you hear that, my fellow Filipinas watching this? If ever you ever watch this, just to let you know, there's one person who are open to look into that for love. O, diba? Especially now that I've been doing this video about dealing with Black culture and Filipino culture. It seems like when it comes to culture, like the background culture, it does feels like they would complement each other in a way. So I don't know about it because I never really had like the first interaction. I get the glimpse and pieces of the history and stuff like that. But when it comes to their own culture, society, family culture, you're close with your family. Complement each other. How? Tell me, I'm interested. Fellow Filipinos, if you have any at all opinion about this, then let me know in the comments down below. One of the things that I feel that it would complement each other and how I simplify the culture and who would complement something or like who would be the same, they can get each other. You have an extended family. That's kind of like, I feel like one of the things that it's not going to be the foundation, but you know, maybe it's close if you explain it that way. If you grew up in a kind of like environment or community that gives value to not just your own family or the family you're creating, but grandpa, lola, lolo, or something like that, or extended cousins, or like second, third, fourth cousin. If you are kind of in that, then you would complement each other. Because I've known some cultures that aren't like that. I wouldn't be sad about it because that's how they grew up in. They don't know how I grew up. Sometimes it would matter if you are choosing to find your wife or husband, because at the same time, I think that's the foundation of how are you going to create your own family. You know what I'm saying? Is that good enough answer? This is the problem. You'll just have to be not super choosy. Sometimes we become so choosy And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you know exactly what you want. Back in the day, I felt like I get into these phases of I'm trying to find a partner for me. But at the same time, because you were young, you kind of like shift back and forth of being
Maybe I'll just end up alone.
something like that because no one can satisfy what I really want in my partner or something. But how are you? How am I? I'm good. I'm always good. One of the things that making me get through the hard times because hard times, struggle, problems, it's always in the corner. You can create one if you want. Just saying. One of the things that getting me through is by laughing, making it not such a big deal and knowing that whatever you're in, it's just for now. If you deal with it, then it'll be easier done. And then obviously you can move on, kind of thing. So laugh, guys. Smile. Right now, smile. Because when you smile, it's free. Plus, it relaxes your muscle. It stretches your muscle. Another thing that, according to Japan, when you smile and do the weird faces exercises on your face, you get to look young all the time. So do that. I found love this year myself. Oh, diba? Exactly. Another perfect form of love is self-love. It's important. I think that's one of the most important, like the level one, self-love. As much as how corny it sounds like, if you don't know how to love yourself, how can you give love to other people? You know, it's corny as it sounds like, but that's pretty much true. Real talk.
Aw.
Are you guys got lucky? And if you're single, got lucky and, get to have sexy time. And how about the other ones, the marriage, have relationships? Did you have something special? Let me know in the comments right now. I want to know. I want to know what's different. How about you, madam? Is your heart happy? Oh my God. I'm don't ask like that because it's gonna be my story now, di ba? Pag tinatanong niyo ako ng ganyan, mapapahaba yung istorya natin, di ba? Ma-off topic tayo niya. Okay, so let's start with this. Home. When it comes to home, some people would find a partner that want to be married, but they'd rather not spend too much time with each other. Do you get that? In Japan, there's this culture of most husbands doesn't want to come home because they don't feel like it's home. They don't feel comfortable or they don't feel like they can relax. And sometimes I feel like, is that how they avoid their partner? But there's a huge culture of that. Rather than going home, they'd rather spend their time in the park and then get home when it's too late. There's factors behind those kind of behaviors, but I'm not gonna go through that. But there's a culture like that. And the thing is, when it comes to me, sometimes I would want to have a night party out, or I would miss hanging out or going outside or going something. But usually when I'm tired, I just really want to come home and just spend time at home. So sometimes it feels like if you're going to choose and find a partner for you, maybe I guess it depends on what kind of character do you have. Depending on your character, you have to choose someone that would create a home that you'd want to come home every day. You would want to spend time most of the time. If you're asking, is my heart happy? Definitely. Kaya ako, masayang masaya. I'm really happy. I really, really am happy. I feel like my heart is really, really happy. Like I'm complete kind of thing. Diba? Thank you for asking. Diba? May pag ganon. Every day is Valentine's Day. Exactly. If you have kind of like that kind of home, if you found and get the right choice to find a partner for you, every day could be a Valentine Day. But don't be too not realistic. There will always going to be some bumps disagreeing on something or disagreements on something, but you have a good conversation and you trust each other, you care for each other. I think that's where the relationship would actually really going to work. If it's on your own words and your advice, what is your advice to people who are choosing and finding love? What advices can you give, especially now? Technology is there. There's actually a debate where is technology helping people to have relationships or good relationships, or is it a good or bad thing? Getting information on the internet, you have to be very, very careful sometimes because it's basically personalized. Everything right now is personalized. When you're trying to research on something, that would be feeded to you, whether you know it or not. Unless you're a very, very genius on internet, then probably you're gonna be exempted with all of that. But as a normal, average human being, just know there's always two sides of the story or points there is. There's good and there's bad. It's just how you're going to take that into your life, into your choices, your decisions. Find a person who will accept you, who who will accept who you are. And I want to explore that one because a lot of misinformation, a lot of misinterpretation comes in that word, in that statement. I mean, since you're also in a relationship, don't you also have advice for us to answer this question? And guys, I love it. You're asking me questions for real. I do like that. But so my advice, gayahin niyo ako, charot. For real, my advice is the same thing. Find someone who will accept you for who you are. But as I've said, you have to understand, guys, that relationships takes a lot of work. Or let me correct that. Marriage is a lot of work. There's a lot of people out there that has this thought that once you get married, everything is done. You started to do things that you've never done when you're just living together or your boyfriend or girlfriend. Things would come out. And the thing is, if you don't have the acceptance, just not acceptance of your partner, but the acceptance of who you are for yourself. Like if you don't accept who you are, then your partner wouldn't understand you because you yourself is in denial. So my advice is before you get to choose and find your partner or someone, especially into marriage, if you ever going to marriage, there's an old saying in the Philippines, you really have to think about it 100 times. But usually, realistically, you don't. Some people cannot think like that. But once you get into marriage, once you get to find someone that you really think would be the perfect fit for you, remember it takes a lot of work. Marriage, it doesn't start there. It's where it's beginning and it never ends. So make sure that when you found someone, make sure that you accept the flaws first. If you yourself make sure show all your flaws, show all your bad characteristics, and if that person still accepts you for who you are, then you got the perfect. I can't take this seriously, isn't it? But I'm talking about, guys. But if you want to make me take it and explain it more seriously, then I would be gladly do that if you ask. Thank you so much. It has meant a lot to these channels. All the positive love out for you.